Straight to the point.
Okay, mga kaigalaan karon mga oras ato tagag pagtagad no kay dutay mga issues mahigalang ato nga hisgutan karon unya ato mga higalang hatagag pagtagad kay bisita dito sa Sibianan ato na sad mahigalang hatagag pagtagad yun kay ni aman sa Cebu unya nakabisita sa Sibianan usapod ka opportunity sa atong kabahin no nga ni Asia dinhi unya atong mahinabi mahigala way lain ang spokesperson mahigala sa Office of the Vice President nga si Attorney Ruth Castelo. Mayong buntag, Panyera?
Hi, mayong buntag, Panyera. Panyero, Attorney Rufil Banyok.
Mayong buntag. Kumusta? Kumusta man ka?
Okay naman. Slept well last night. Okay naman. Thank you.
Oo. Pero hindi ka makaintindi ng Bisaya no Cebuano?
I can pick up some. I wish I can speak. Well, I can pick up some words.
Okay. So, si Attorney Castelo Mahigala ay former USEC ng Department of Trade and Industry, no?
That's right.
Tapos ngayon nag-join sa naging spokesperson sa Office of the Vice President. Meron tayong maraming mga katanungan but before that, kumusta po Panyera? May mga activities ba ang Office of the Vice President ngayon dito sa Cebu?
Yes, we're here in Panyero, Tagalog, English.
Tagalog lang, Tagalog
okay.
Or dahil hindi kayang Bisaya, no? Tagalog lang. Kung hindi kaya mag-English, then Tagalog. Ganun lang.
Okay. Nandito kami sa Cebu because we have activities nga to do today, tomorrow, and until Friday, we'll be here. Bukas, mamaya, meron tayong relief operation sa Mandaue City. Punta tayo sa Barangay Alang-Alang. We have 1,500 families na bibigyan ng relief dahil galing pa sila sa Bagyong Tino, Bagyong Opong, Bagyong Uwan. Hindi pa fully recovered yung mga pamilya. So pupuntahan natin sila. 1,500 din yun. And then tomorrow, punta tayo sa Barangay Puok naman sa Talisay City.
Okay.
300 families yung bibisitahin natin. Mamayang hapon, meron tayong mga bisita sa OVP Satellite Office from Camotes Island.
Okay.
Bibigyan natin po sila ng hindi ko malaman paano siya i-term. It's an award. It's an award for livelihood.
Okay.
Na bigyan natin sila ng mga cheque dahil pumasa na sila or nag-qualify na sila doon sa Magnegosyo Taday program ng Office of the Vice President. Ito yung mga individual business people na tinutulungan natin yung gustong mag-expand, gustong magtuloy, or gustong mag-umpisa ng negosyo nila. We give them 15,000 each after they are found to qualify doon sa programa. Siyempre, hingan natin sila ng documents na isa-submit nila sa atin for vetting purposes. For here in Cebu, our OVP Satellite Office covers Cebu City, Siquijor, and Bohol.
Okay.
So pwede silang mag-apply sa OVP Satellite Office natin or through email or sa kanilang Facebook page. And then, after they qualify, pagka they are found to have qualified for the program, may training naman tayo on financial literacy through the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation para turuan sila kung paano mag-manage ng pera nila or paano gagawin nila para sigurado na hindi sila malulugi. And then for the business itself naman, we also have the assistance of the Department of Trade and Industry. Sila naman yung magtuturo sa MSME kung anong programa, anong negosyo ang pwede, anong business ba yung papatok sa ganitong panahon, 'di ba? Maliliit lang naman 'yan, small scale kasi the award is only 15,000 pesos. Pero hindi ito ayuda in a way, tulong po ito natin talaga for the business.
Okay.
Because alam ni Vice President Duterte na pag nag-improve yung negosyo ng isang tao, buong pamilya niya ang magbe-benefit. And then we have another kind, pero so today 27 awards yung ibibigay natin. Pero we have another kind of MTD program for organizations naman, whether formally organized or not. Nagbibigay tayo, at regardless of the number of members that they have, nagbibigay tayo ng 150,000 pesos.
Okay.
So the more members they have, the more families we will be able to assist doon sa negosyo. So, yan yung dalawang klase ng MTD programs natin. And we're going to do the awarding this afternoon.
Mm-mm. So ito ang monitoring natin ma'am sa on-air natin, no?
Oh, okay.
Parang aside from the radio listeners natin, nakikita tayo, live tayo ngayon sa ating mga social media platforms, no, dito sa RMN. Okay. So 3 araw ang daming activities, no?
Yes.
Sa OVP.
Ganyan po
So
ang...
today, tomorrow, and how about Friday? What are your activities?
Friday, we will still have some. Fina-finalize lang natin ang schedule. Baka magbisita naman tayo doon sa mga dati ng MTD, yung magnegosyo taday beneficiaries natin na nabigyan na dati pa.
Oo.
So,
Oo. Si Vice President Sara, pupunta ba siya dito?
not anytime soon, Panyero. Pero pagka merong isang malaking activity dito or alam nyo naman si Vice President, pagka merong, pag kailangan siya talaga, pag may sakuna, bagyo, lindol, yan, dadating yan.
Oo.
And kaya rin tayo nagre-reach out dito sa Cebu, yung mga kababayan natin na nandito because ang gusto ni Vice President, ang instruction niya sa atin ay puntahan natin yung mga kailangan ng tulong. We need to be able to serve the most unserved and the most underserved.
Dahil yung lindol doon sa northern part of Cebu, nagpunta si VP doon. VP
Sa
Sara.
Bogo?
Oo, sa Bogo.
Yes, opo.
At saka dito ngayon sa Baguio, naka-ano din siya, no? Naka-visit din siya. Pero yung pag-visit niya, parang hindi masyadong ipaalam, no? Parang diretso lang yung pag-visit niya. Sometimes the media cannot even make a coverage about her visit, no?
That's right. That's right.
Diretso lang.
Oo, that's right, Panyero. Actually, hindi naman talaga mahilig, di ba, magpa-cover ng media si Vice President. Basta trabaho lang ng trabaho, tuloy-tuloy lang. Whether, actually, mas gusto niya walang nakakakita eh. Gusto niya tahimik lang. Kahit naman kami, kahit naman ang ating OVP Central Office and the satellite offices, which incidentally, we have 10 around the country, hindi naman talaga ma-media kasi ano lang, gawa lang ng gawa, wala masyadong salita, wala masyadong talkies ba?
Wala masyadong mga fanfare dyan.
Walang fanfare. Trabaho lang. Akyat kami ng bundok, tawid kami ng ilog, tawid kami ng mga gubat. Ayun, na pupuntahan namin para makarating sa kabilang barangay. Pero tahimik lang. Hindi kailangan ipaalam naman sa mga tao.
That's why malaman lang namin na nagpunta pala si VP Sara doon dahil na sa mga after the fact after the incident na napunta siya.
Mga na lang, post na lang ng mga nakakita ng netizens.
So ganyan talaga ang style niya or maybe she is also concerned over security?
Well, of course, partly the security issue dahil syempre ayaw niya rin naman na i-broadcast kung nasaan siya, di ba? For security reasons. Pero the personality hindi talaga mahilig mag-fanfare. So simple lang siya, tahimik lang, trabaho lang. Hindi importante kung nalalaman ng tao or pinapalakpakan siya.
Okay. So yung mga key programs ng OVP, baka ma-discuss natin at saka may mga katanungan din ako mamaya sa iba't ibang mga issues pa, no?
Straight to the
Atong
point.
padayon mahigala kay niya sa atong sibianan karon si Attorney Ruth Castelo, ang spokesperson mahigala ni Vice President, Office of the Vice President, no? Unya dunay mga activities ang OVP dito sa Sugbo mga kagilaan. Mahitungod sad ni mga higala sa bagyong Sitino, no? Munang doon na sa mga relief operations nga ilang himuon nya doon na pud kuno mga i-award sa DI, no? Labot ining magnegosyo taday, no? Magnegosyo taday. So itong balikan natin itong magnegosyo taday before we proceed to other topics also. Itong magnegosyo taday may mga 15 na bibigyan ng award, no? Today?
Tomorrow, 27.
27 individuals. But
yes.
how about the organizations? How many organizations are you going to give?
For this year, parang wala pa tayong na ibigay. But we have, one organization na nabigyan na natin ng tulong. So that's 150,000 pesos. hindi ko lang maalala kung ilan ang members nila, pero 150,000 pesos yun for one group na taga Mualboal.
Okay. So yun, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang programs.
Tuloy-tuloy. Kasi, syempre, as the applications come, i-vet natin yung mga papeles nila and then yung tao or yung organization, check natin ang qualifications kung mag-qualify at may pondo kasi syempre the funds should always be ready naman pero hindi rin always readily available, di ba? So pag nag-qualify na at may pondo, tuloy-tuloy na ang proseso. Mabigay na natin sa kanila.
So dito tayo sa mga we will discuss about this, the budget doon sa mga programs po ng Office of the Vice President. Pero before going to that, ma'am, kumusta po ang trabaho ng isang spokesperson?
Okay naman. I just need to, of course, remember everything. Lahat, sa dami kasi ng ginagawa ng OVP, dami ng programa, sa dami ng mga activities, so I have to remember. Like, now, gusto ko i-promote naman yung ating OVP anniversary. Because this year, 2025, is the 90th year since the Office of the Vice President has been institutionalized. 1935, yan, November 15, 1935. And si Vice President Duterte ay pang 15 na Vice President na natin. Unfortunately, dahil sa dami ng mga nangyari dito sa Cebu, hindi pa muna na-prioritize ng ating satellite office ang pag-set up ng exhibit. We have exhibits kasi featuring all the 15 vice presidents. Para bigyan natin sila ng tribute, the vice president wants to give them the recognition and the distinction that they deserve para doon sa mga naitulong nila sa bansa for nation building. Mag-set up tayo siguro early next year para makita ng mga tao, and especially that we have a former vice president that comes from Cebu, si Vice President Sergio.
Yeah, at naging president din siya actually. Si Sergio.
That's right.
Oo. Now, itong sa posisyon ninyo bilang spokesperson, no? Dahil maraming mga issues, no? Yung mga previous interviews na laman natin na galing kayo ng DTI tapos nag-apply ka dito sa bilang spokesperson ng OVP. Considering nyo, dahil may nangyari doon sa DTI kung if I'm not mistaken, may parang na floating status ka doon. Tapos with your experience in the government and with your experience as a practicing lawyer, what triggered you to apply to work for the Vice President's office?
For the Vice President? Nakita ko how strong she is at yung kanyang sincerity, the authenticity of the person, hindi ba? Makita mo yung kanyang with the way she speaks, makita mo yung the genuineness of the desire niya na ayusin ang bansa. So gusto ko talaga, nag-volunteer ako talaga na tulungan siya. And especially that I am also a President Duterte appointee. 2016, when I went to DTI after some stint in the local government unit, President Duterte ang pinagsilbihan ko ng 6 na taon.
Okay.
For the full term. And then nag-extend ako ng another year and a half kay President Marcos until I left or I was forced to leave DTI.
So you were able to serve DTI as USEC for more than 6 years or 7 years?
7.5 years, bale. The first year and a half, I served as Undersecretary for Construction. We have the Construction Industry Authority of the Philippines, and then later on na yung Consumer Protection.
Dahil as a lawyer, as yung experience niyo at saka pwede ka naman babalik sa practice, no? Dahil doon sa practice, baka magka-income pa ka ng unlimited doon. But despite of that, parang gustuhin mo na mag-join sa Office of the Vice President.
Yes, I went back to private practice actually after I left DTI.
Ah,
That was
okay.
December 2023. This year lang ako nag-start sa OVP. So nakabalik naman ako sa private practice and other engagements in the private sector.
But are you not bothered considering the high pressure environment now, especially with the OVP dahil talagang may mga controversial issues talaga?
Good question, Panyero. But if the Vice President is not bothered, why will I be bothered? Kasi siya kaya niya harapin. Nakita mo how much she has on her plate. Lahat sari-sari. Personal, family, professional, political. Lahat ng klaseng issues meron na sa kanyang buhay, diba? And yet, she remains standing. She remains firm. She remains unbowed and unbothered, to borrow her own words. So, tulong lang sa trabaho, the way that we're doing it now sa OVP, ang magagawa kasi, of course, all of us supporting the Vice President would want to help her, hindi ba? So, kami sa Office of the Vice President, ang tulong na maibibigay namin sa kanya is to continue doing our job well, at of course with the values that she wants, integrity, honesty. We have the competence naman, kaya naman talaga gawin yung trabaho. Dire-diretso lang, tulong lang, follow her instructions, and then yan, in this way nakakatulong kami sa kanya para hindi niya masyado nang iniintindi din yung mga programa na ganito na tayo na ang gumagawa.
So dahil you work closely with the Vice President, talagang nakilala mo siya, yung leadership niya, yung style niya, talagang yung personality niya talagang, dahil of course totoo naman yun, nakita natin she remains standing. Talagang may strong personality talaga si VP, no, despite of the problems, despite of the issues that she is facing.
Of course, Panyero, nasasaktan din yun. Of course, nanghihina rin yan or nahihinaan rin ng loob paminsan-minsan. But she has to be firm. She has to be strong. Kailangan niyang labanan lahat ito dahil marami pa siyang gustong gawin para sa bansa. Marami siyang gustong ayusin para sa ating lahat. Diba? Continue also yung kanyang vision na maayos natin lahat, like fight against corruption, climate change, 'di ba? Na ina-advocate niya rin ang resiliency natin against climate change. Yung mga issues ng pagbaha natin, ganyan. So, seemingly trivial siguro for other people, seemingly minor, pero para sa ating ordinaryong mamamayan, malaking tulong, malaking bagay para sa atin yung mga ganitong programa.
But I heard during the previous interviews you said that parang you will not serve as an attack dog, no? Is that an instruction really from the Vice President, or it's just your style na yung personality mo talaga na hindi mag-attack?
Her instruction na hindi tayo on the offensive, we will not engage in mudslinging, hindi tayo makikipag-away, just report on the accomplishments of the Office of the Vice President. And in other words, do not be an attack dog.
Pero what are the issues, or parang ano ang division ninyo sa mga issues? For example, because the Vice President in cases that the media makaharap sa kanya, she would allow also ambush interviews.
Right,
no? So
right.
What are the issues na you will speak for and in behalf of the OVP? And what are those issues na siya ang masalita? Mayroon ba kayong division diyan?
Compartmentalized ang ating trabaho as spokesperson. Ako, I am tasked to speak for the Office of the Vice President and the official acts of the Vice President. So, lahat ng accomplishments natin, lahat ng trabaho, yan mga issues like Commission on Audit, yan yung mga bagay, programa at mga projects ng OVP. For impeachment, there is a separate spokesperson na naka-assign. And then for all others, personal, political, ni Vice President Duterte, sa kanya na. Siya mismo ang sasagot.
Are you conducting a regular press conference?
Wala namang regular day. Depende sa issue, Panyero. Kung meron mga pressing matters that need to be discussed with the public or that the public needs to be informed of, yun, nagpa-press conference tayo.
Dito tayo sa budget ng Office of the Vice President, because alam naman natin, ang daming, as you mentioned, mga 10 satellite offices yung na-maintain ng Office of the Vice President, at saka mayroon kayong mga programs, dahil noon, well-known yung Office of the Vice President dito, lalo na dito sa RMN, dahil may mga tao na magpunta dito everyday. Everyday nag-accommodate kami ng mga listeners natin, no, napunta, they ask our assistance. So sometimes, or many times, we referred those people to the Office of the Vice President dahil namimigay kayo ng mga medicines. Now, yung nandyan pa ba yung program na yan?
Medical and burial assistance.
Oo.
Hindi na po because it was removed. Well, these two programs were removed as line items for 2025.
What are these two programs?
Medical assistance and burial assistance. So inalis po ng Kongreso as line items for 2025, hindi na tayo humingi ng pondo for 2026. Kaya nawala po yung programa na yan. Natira yung ating mga other major programs na marami pa rin naman. We have Libreng Sakay, we have the RISE program. This is the relief for indigents and individuals in crisis and emergencies. We have the Kalasugan food truck. We have You Can Be VP. We have the Pagbabago, 1 Million Learners and 1 Million Trees program. So itong these are just some of the few. A few of the programs that we have. So ito yung mga naiwan. Yung medical and burial lang naman ang nawala. So tuloy-tuloy pa rin. We continue to operate the Disaster Operation Center. Ito yung separate, meron siyang sariling mandato to always be on guard for disasters at makabigay ng relief to augment the capability of the national government.
Dahil talagang na ano yung program na yan, alam namin yan dito sa RMN dahil if you observe outside, ang daming tao dyan na they ask our assistance, may mga legal assistance, ang iba yung mga may sakit, i-refer namin doon sa Office of the Vice President. Talagang na-accommodate sila noon. But ngayon, dahil of the budget cut, no, yun ang nangyari.
Right.
Inalis yung budget na yan.
Hindi din naman kasi malaki to begin with. Even if they included that, hindi rin malaki naman yung pondo. Especially for 2025, 733 million. And then for next year, we're hoping na ma-approve finally yung 889 million na pondo for the Office of the Vice President.
Itong budget natin, yung original budget proposed from your office na i-include doon sa NEP, 700 million yan.
No, for 2026,
For 2026.
it's around 960 something.
But that's the one being approved.
Lahat na yun.
Yeah, but yung proposal ninyo, original proposal from your
that
office.
was what was proposed.
Okay.
Parang 960 or 970 million. Pero ang na-approve is 903 million. Tapos minus yung retirement and life insurance premiums na i-deduct mo na yun kasi automatic yun for the retirees, di ba? 889 na lang for operations ang matira. So we're hoping na ito na yung final approved budget for 2020.
Dahil iba yung ina-approve ng lower house, iba din yung i-approve sa Senate. Yung figure.
Yes, sa lower house po, I understand, ang gusto nila ay yung 733 na budget na 2025, ikopya na lang for next year.
Oo. At least the Senate has increased it.
Yes, they approved 889. So sa BICAM, sana po, we're really hoping that the senators will help us defend the 889 million peso budget.
Dahil ang BICAM, mag-start sila ngayong hearing mga December 12, if I'm not mistaken, no?
This week yata mag-umpisa na.
So, despite of the budget given to the Office of the Vice President, parang of all the departments, itong Office of the Vice President, parang siyang pinakamaliit na budget. Ganun ba? No?
Wala pa po siya sa 1/4 ng regular line department.
Dahil ang pinaka malaking budget talaga yung DPWH. At saka education actually, no? Sila ang tapos yung Office of the Vice President.
Ano naman po, ang Office of the Vice President is not asking for a lot. Ang gusto lang po natin talaga, syempre mas maraming pondo ka na hawak, mas maraming programa, mas maraming taong matutulungan, mas maraming pamilyang magbebenepisyo. Especially na ang utos ni Vice President is to serve the most unserved and the most underserved. So, sa dami niyan dito sa atin, sa population ng buong Pilipinas, hindi po natin kakayaning masilbihan sila lahat because
At least,
of the limited funds that we have.
Despite of the limited funds, at least yung Office of the Vice President talagang nakagalaw pa rin at naka-function pa rin, no?
Kinakaya natin yan, Panyero. Kinakaya natin.
Okay, may mga additional questions pa ako, Panyera.
Straight to the
Atong
point.
balikan mahigala sa Attorney Ruth Castelo, ang spokesperson sa Office of the Vice President. Sa atong papakihinabi mahigala tungod pod sa ilang pag-ari karon sa ato sibianan sa DYHP Aramin Cebu o pag-ari nila sa Sugbo kay doon na sa mga activities 3 days, no, ang activities sa Office of the Vice President. Pero doon mga pangutana nga importante sad nga itong tagagpagtagad. Panyira, Ruth, yung COA ay mayroong sunod-sunod, no, na unmodified audit opinion. So ibig sabihin okay lang yung Office of the Vice President dahil unmodified audit opinion yon, no? Pero lately mayroon ding, because the people will presume that the Office of the Vice President will be very careful, especially doon sa spending nila dahil I understand yung mga critics ng Vice President at saka yung nakatingin sa inyo diyan sa Office of the Vice President. Pero yung latest kasi mayroong issue na mayroon din kayo na acquire na mga equipment diyan na sobrang mahal daw. Isa doon yung na report yung sa CCTV na sobrang too expensive daw. Could you explain that, Panyera?
Yes. I will begin by saying that we have received the unmodified or unqualified audit opinion for the years 2022, 2023, 2024. So, 3 consecutive years na binigay ng Commission on Audit yung ganyang opinion on the audit on financial statements. Kasi there are 3 kinds of audit, di ba? Compliance audit, performance audit, financial statement audit. So, dun sa audit ng financial statement, ang binigay sa atin na opinion is unmodified.
Okay.
Meaning, that we have fairly presented all our financial statements covering all our financial transactions ng malinaw sa Commission on Audit na naipresenta natin ng maayos, klaro, kompleto ng papeles, kompleto ng dokumento to support the expenditure. So, of course, meron ding audit observations contained in the COA report that we received last June. Pero walang itong mga audit observations na ito are readily correctable. Kaya na-correct na natin, ginagawa naman yan ng COA, Panyero, for all government agencies. They gave us 6 months within which to submit a report on the rectifications made. And we have done that dun sa several audit observations na ginawa. Pero walang question doon on the CCTV cameras that you mentioned. So kung meron pong red flag yan sa Commission on Audit, it would have been contained in the COA report indicating the audit observations made. Wala pong ganyan. So ibig sabihin, hindi po red flag sa COA. Meaning, also further meaning that we have fairly presented documents covering that transaction and therefore justifying the expenditure for that transaction.
What happened to yung sinabi na donation, parang laptop at saka hindi pala laptop? Bakit nang nangyari yon? May mga clerical errors ba? Ano nangyari doon na yung mga printer ba yon?
Meron pong donation on photocopying machines.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, there were 12 units ng photocopying machines na binigay sa Office of the Vice President as used equipment. Gamit na siya. Parang kumbaga second hand. But the amount of donation indicated, syempre may corresponding monetary value, hindi ba? Ang nakalagay doon is the acquisition cost as brand new. So ang audit observation po, ang sabi lang ay ilagay ninyo yung cost actual cost, yung depreciated value na when you receive the donation. Yun lang naman. So it was a mere oversight na na-correct naman agad talaga ng Office of the Vice President. Yung sa Magnegosyo Taday, ginagawa rin nilang issue yan. Meron rin audit observation on that, but it is only on the submission of the liquidation documents. Kasi if you will understand, in the manual of operations for the program Magnegosyo Taday, yung liquidation will come from the beneficiary. So kukuhanin natin sa kanila yung mga papeles nila, mga resibo, and then we will process it para ma-submit natin ang financial statement ng expenditure and then submit it to COA. Kaya lang, sometimes it takes a while kasi talaga namang malalayo yung mga pinupuntahan namin, yung mga pinagbibigyan natin ng award. Sabi ko nga, tatawid tayo ng dagat, tawid ng ilog, akyat ng bundok, ganyan. And it takes a while to get these receipts from them, these documents. Or kung hihintayin natin sila, mas matagal pa kasi syempre hindi rin basta-basta siguro makapunta yung mga tao. So yun, or ang kailangan ng halimbawa, isang requirement ng COA ay original copy. And then another requirement ng COA is also an original copy of the same transaction. Iisa lang yung original. So, paano yun, diba? So, i-photocopy mo to be able to comply with the other requirement ng Commission on Audit. So, kung hindi mo i-photocopy, you'll have to get a certified original from the business that issued the receipt. So, ganun po kahirap rin yung ginawa natin just to be able to comply with COA. And ang sabi lang naman nila ay i-comply nyo, get the original or make an exact or accurate reference kung nasaan talaga yung original copy so they can just look for the document.
Dahil yung mga critics din ng OVP, they are just watching there sa mga ginagawa ninyo at baka may mga ano dyan, sa tingin nila may mga loopholes dyan, they will capitalize them.
That's right, Panyero. That's why we appreciate you having invited us here. Kasi may mga tao nagagawa na lang ng general statements ng hindi naman based on factual evidence, hindi ba? Kagaya nung yung sa Magnegosyo Taday without even knowing kung ano talaga. That's why we are also glad that we are able to explain this dito sa programa mo. Ganon ang nangyayari. Yung CCTV na na-mention mo, it's not contained in any of the documents that we received from the Commission on Audit. Wala pong issue. The COA did not make an audit observation on that.
Dahil at sunod-sunod, baka mag-wonder tayo na sunod-sunod yung unmodified opinion ng COA, tapos
may ganyan
may ganyan.
Issue. That's right.
Oo. So, yung people who are following the activities of the Office of the Vice President, parang magtaka sila ba? Bakit ganon?
Kami rin po, nagtataka kung saan galing. Kasi wala naman po doon sa documents na hawak namin from the Commission on Audit.
Okay. Sige. Dahil, Panyera, ito talagang sa real talk, no? Despite the fact that the impeachment of Vice President Sara, nandyan sa Supreme Court yan, pero by this coming February, maging 1 year na. At saka yung mga ibang mga congressmen dyan, nagsasabi na sila na they will refile the impeachment complaint against the Vice President. Pero kung titingnan mo, parang rehas naman yung mga grounds sila, but baka makakita sa ng panibagong mga grounds dahil sa mga pangyayari dyan sa Office of the Vice President. So sa tingin nyo, hindi sila makakakuha ngayon ng mga additional na ano dyan?
The Vice President remains unafraid. She's ready po to face the impeachment charges. Alam niya po kung anong ginawa niya. Alam niya the integrity of the expenditure that were made by the Office of the Vice President. So wala pong kaba si Vice President Duterte.
So how is she preparing for another impeachment complaint that will be filed this coming February?
The legal team has been preparing, never stop naman po because the Supreme Court said that it can be refiled after 1 year. So, hindi naman po tumigil pagkalap ng ebidensya or pag-prepare, pag-aral ng kaso, the articles of impeachment. And I'm sure that by now they are more than ready to face the impeachment court kung sakali pong matutuloy.
Dahil baka matutuloy.
Okay lang rin kung matuloy. Ready naman po ang legal team ni Vice President Duterte.
Oo, dahil parang in fact I wrote it in my column dahil sa ngayon kasi real talk lang, surveys after surveys, si Vice President Sara Duterte ay palaging nangunguna. Pero kung ma-impeach siya at ma-convict siya at mayroong attached penalty dyan na perpetual disqualification from holding office, ipag mawala sa picture dyan, maging patas yung playing field. So, yung iba't ibang parties, gusto nilang talagang ganun mangyari. In fact, ngayon, kung mababasa natin, mayroon na mga nag-prepare na mag-file ng impeachment complaint. So, the Vice President, I think, is also anticipating that. No?
Kung anong mangyari, kung anong kakalabasan niyan, basta po ang Vice President handa na magpakita ng ebidensya, maglabas ng kanyang narration in the proper forum. Doon lang, palagi naman niya yan sinasabi, Panyero, hindi ba? She will present her evidence and make her statements only in the proper forum. So, sa impeachment court lang niya po rin talaga gagawin. And who knows, baka po pagka nagsalita or naglabas na ng ebidensya ang defense team natin ay matapos bigla yung kaso.
But the impeachment is a numbers game. Diyan ang problema din yan.
We would just have to trust in the integrity of the members of the Senate.
Yeah,
sir.
Dahil yung kung titingnan, mayroong mga lining ng oposisyon at administrasyon, para yung lining ng oposisyon ng mga senators, parang isa-isa na sa ngayon.
Opo.
Pero yung legal team niya, of course, mayroong trust si Vice President sa legal team niya. Wala ba siyang mga plans na mag-hire pa ng mga legal luminaries like what happened during the impeachment of Irap, na mayroon talagang former Chief Justice ng Supreme Court na kasama sa team nila, si former Chief Justice Narbasa, if I'm not mistaken, and then during the time of Corona, si Justice Cuevas. Sa ngayon yung legal team niya, of course, with due respect, talagang mga mabigat naman yung legal team, but wala ba siyang plano si VP Sara na mag-hire pa ng additional yung may mga former justice, for example, ng Supreme Court, at least
meron na siyang the legal team is already constituted. Kung meron siyang special person or a legal luminary na ilalabas, we can just wait and see.
But meron ka bang idea, Panira? Dahil ang mangyayari kasi 2026, mayroong impeachment yan. Pag maka-survive si VP Sara, mayroon na namang impeachment. Yeah, well, talking reality ba sa mga pangyayari ngayon? Mayroon na namang impeachment sa 2027. Another obstacle na naman na kailangan i-survive ni VP Sara. If in case hindi siya makasurvive, mayroon ka bang idea kung mayroon na mga plan B, plan C, plan D yung Duterte camp? Like if Sara could not anymore run, maybe Baste will supplant, or maybe Pulong, something like that?
On the political side, Panyero, si Vice President po makakasagot.
Okay. Sige, Panira. Yung balik tayo sa mga program ninyo. Itong sa program ng Magnegosyo Tada, hindi ba kayo mahirapan na mag-liquidate dyan?
Well, we have the manual of operations. Yun nga ang sabi ng Commission on Audit doon sa kanilang report for 2024. Ang manual of operations natin per program, ang gumagawa niyan is the Office of the Vice President itself. Yung mga naka-assign doon sa operations, sila yung sa kanila galing yung manual of operations, and we find parang we're restricting ourselves too much. Kaya ang sabi ng Commission on Audit, pwedeng i-adjust naman ng konti para makakomply doon sa requirements ng Commission on Audit. So, ginawa natin yan upon the recommendation of COA, medyo nagluwag tayo ng ibang requirements natin na napapasok pa rin naman doon sa compliance natin for the Commission on Audit. So meron ng some adjustments na gawin para mas mapadali ang liquidation process natin, sir.
Itong libreng sakay, tuloy-tuloy pa rin, no?
Tuloy-tuloy po. We have one here in Cebu.
Yeah, oo. Kita naman yung bus dito. May markang Office of the Vice President.
Oh, nice. It operates from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we have that in Cebu, in Tacloban, in Davao City, sa Metro Manila, meron din po, and then in major cities around the country.
Tapos 10 satellite offices,
10
tuloy-tuloy.
satellite offices, and then we have a Tondo Extension Office, and then we have the central office ng Office of the Vice President.
Kumusta si VP Sara ngayon? Especially diyan tatay niya doon sa Daheg. Kumusta ang working partnership niyo diyan sa kanyang opisina? Palagi ba kayo nag-uusap dahil ikaw yung spokesperson?
Hindi naman rin ho palagi. Hindi din palagi. Basta the instruction kasi, as long as it does not change, ibig sabihin tuloy lang. Otherwise kasi magbabago yung instruction, 'di ba? And as spokesperson, I follow everything that she says para alam ko kung ano yung sinabi niya or her position on some issues. Not necessarily for me to say it, kasi kung political nga, hindi naman po ako pang political na spokesperson, pero at least alam ko kung paano.
So mayroon kayong compartmentalize sa inyo, no? Pag impeachment issues, there is a spokesperson being assigned for that.
That's right.
And also for political, somebody will also answer for that particular aspect.
Political and personal, it's the Vice President who will speak on that.
So yung sa inyo, pag Office of the Vice President na mga activities,
OVP programs, activities, accomplishments, lahat po ng ginagawa ng Office of the Vice
but
President.
sometimes it is inevitable na mayroon talaga mga questions not only relative to the Office of the Vice President but also yung mga political issues, no?
That's why it's important nga na sundan ko yung mga sinasabi ni Vice President.
But mayroon mga controversial issues, for example, you have a regular or not regular, maybe you will have a briefing prior to making conducting.
Pagka meron talagang pressing matter or talagang importante na sagutin, meron po.
If you don't mind, ma'am, dahil galing kayo ng DTI, no? USEC for 7 years and a half. Anong statement, anong masasabi mo, anong comment mo dyan sa sinasabi ng DTI ngayon na itong 500 pesos na Noche Boy na, okay, kasya yan?
Hindi na po ako tagapagsalita ng DTI. So, wala po akong komento dyan, Panyero.
Okay.
Kung nasa DTI po ako, but I am now with the Office of the Vice President, so hindi po ako magko-comment.
Sige. Wala na akong mga katanungan, Panyera, at we are running out of time kasi baka mayroon pang mga ibang pagkakataon na maka-visit ka dito sa Cebu, punta ka dito sa aming stations, welcome ka dito.
Maraming salamat. Maraming salamat for this opportunity.
Yung message ninyo.
Yes, paalala lang natin sa mga tao, lahat ng ginagawa ng OVP, nakita nyo yung ating budget na hindi naman ganun kalaki, ay lahat yan ng tulong na binibigay ng OVP at ni Vice President Duterte ay galing sa kasing-kasing. At lahat yan ay ginagawa dahil ang sabi niya palagi, mahalin natin ang Pilipinas para sa Diyos, para sa bayan at para sa bawat pamilyang Pilipino.
Okay. Daghang salamat ha, Panyera. Attorney Ruth Castelo, mga higala, ang spokesperson sa Office of the Vice President at nakauban karong buntaga, mga sukintig paminaw.
Straight to the point.
Okay, pero walang tayong oras, mahigala, hangtod ugma na lang sad, no, sa atong pagpadayon sa atong tulumanon ng inyong tulumanon.
Straight to the point.
Standby sa atong sunod nga tulumanon karon, atong mga dramas mahigala, o mapadayon ta, o atong dugang pa nga mga newscast o niyang udto o gatong news and public affairs mga higala nga mga tulumanon des DYHP RMN Cebu. Sa ngalan nas kinitibok ang puwersa sa DYHP RMN Cebu, ako sa kasamang Rufil Fernandez Banyok, manamilit kaninyo pinagas pagingon sa tanang panahon o sa tanang higayon. Dalaygon ng Dios, mayong buntag Pilipinas, Tatak RMN.
Not just number one, simply dominant. inyong napapakinggan ang Best Radio Commentary Program ng 20th Cebu Archdiocesan Mass Media Awards. Straight to the point ni Attorney Rufil Fernandez Banyo.
Ito ang DYHP 612 sa Cebu, numero 1.